What's up guys, this is Books Nelson from the AtMeBro show coming at you with another video from Operation Sports. And today we're going to be talking about how to be an elite dunker in 2K20 and traps to avoid both mentally and from the controlling side. So first things first, let's get this out of the way. There are two sides to being a great dunker in 2K. Number one is the character you're using, and number two is how you control that character. So first let's talk about the character that you're using. So here we have Blake Griffin, who has super juice stats across the board, right? 99 driving dunk, 99 standing dunk. He's fast, he jumps the highest and all that other good stuff, right? 98 speed, that's so crazy. 94 vertical, 94 acceleration, 99 vertical. So you would think that Blake Griffin will automatically be an elite dunker. While Blake is an elite dunker, what's not listed is the secret sauce of 2K. Now, while that sounds like something I just made up, it is not, I assure you. There are many things under the hood that determine how great of a dunker your character is. Some of that, there's no way for us to see, but we know it exists, and this is how. Slashing takeover makes you a better dunker no matter what the ratings say, right? So even if you have a 70 dunk, slashing takeover will allow you to do things that there are no direct ratings for. The 2K characters aren't just their ratings. They're also a whole bunch of things under the hood, so to speak, in coding that make these characters work. And we don't have access to all of those things. We don't have access to see all of those things. So even though we can see the full evidence of it in slashing takeover, don't think that it's not always there, right? And so keeping that in mind, when you play with these characters, the first thing you have to do is you have to master how to control them. And the second thing you have to do is you have to go in game and see how that reflects under different circumstances, because there are so many factors that go into it. I mean, I'm talking about not just stamina, not just your own character's attributes, but the attributes of the characters around you, where you are on the court, whether or not the game decides you're open. All of these things contribute to what your player is going to try to do. And we're going to cover some of that here. So now that we've discussed the 2K side of things, right? We understand that some of it, we have, an idea of what it is, but some of it is a mystery area that we have to discover only by playing the game. So the first thing I want to discuss is dunk rating, right? So dunk rating is not an indicator of how good of a dunker you are. It's an indicator of how many great animations you can get out of your dunk package. So if your character doesn't have a dunk package with great dunk animations, they're not going to be a great dunker no matter what the dunk rating is. And to give you an example of that, I'm actually going to go to Spud Webb. Now, some people might think Spud's a bad dunker because he's small. No, Nate Robinson's a great dunker, right? Nate Robinson's fantastic. I probably should have brought him in here for this test. So let's discover, why is Spud Webb a bad dunker in this game, all right? So first thing we're going to do is, so this is the controller side. This is the user side of things. And it's pretty straightforward. We all know you have 5 basic options when it comes to dunking. You have right hand, left hand, forward on the stick, and backward on the stick. The 5th option is your hop dunk, right? So even though you have all of that stuff, why is Spud a bad dunker? All right, so let's go through those options first and foremost. And Spud didn't dunk. Why didn't he dunk? Because he has a very short dunk radius. So the dunk radius is the point at which your character decides they are allowed to do a dunk animation. For Spud, the dunk radius is really short. It's almost inside the free throw line, which is extraordinarily short for a dunker with 99 speed and 99 dunk rating. I can promise you Nate Robinson's isn't that short, and Nate's only 2 inches taller than Spud Webb, right? So, all right, let's look at these dunk packages again. So now knowing that, we're going to trigger closer. So we see there, Spud jumps really high. That wasn't the worst dunk in the world. There was a little bit of a mini gather. I keep saying short things. I'm not trying to tease Spud. But because he can only jump from so close in, he doesn't have access to great dunk animations. And we see there another alarm bell for Spud. He didn't do a baseline reverse dunk. That was a very weak baseline reverse dunk. All right, so Spud Webb, whatever the secret sauce is with Spud Webb, he doesn't like doing reverse dunks. He dunks very close to the basket, and when he does dunk, he has gathers come very close to the basket, meaning he'll get blocked a lot. All right, he's just going to get blocked a lot because he doesn't have the ability to speed boost into dunks like that one right there. That's going to be a rare occurrence for Spud Webb. So it's a combination of his dunk package for sure. It's not his height. It's his dunk package and a very, very short dunk radius. All right, so let's go back to Blake Griffin. So let's see the dunk radius with Blake Griffin. When does Blake Griffin decide he's ready to dunk? Okay, so I went just past the three-point line and he wasn't ready to dunk. Okay, so one step inside the inside the three-point line and Blake is ready to dunk, which is good. That's a great dunk radius, right? So I would say about right here around the perimeter, as long as the game decides that you're in a sprint, Blake will try to dunk right about here. Not quite the three-point line. All right, so we'll try it again. Just take a look. And I initiated it. So immediately, not immediately, but just after he passes the three-point line, Blake will try to dunk. So he has a near maximum dunk radius. So here's our first indication that the numbers lie. Because Hedo Turkoglu, who we all know is an overall inferior dunker to Blake Griffin, and he has a 96 speed and an 85 dunk, right? So he has an 85 driving dunk, which is good, but it's not the 99 that Blake is. And he's the same height as Blake Griffin, right? Now watch this. When his feet touch the three-point line, you can initiate a dunk with Hedo Turkoglu. It's literally when his feet touch the three-point line. I'm pressing the stick kind of loud. I hope you guys can hear that in the background. As soon as his feet are touching that three-point line, I'm pressing dunk. Could you hear that again? Literally, so it's, while Blake Griffin's dunk radius is nearly elite, Hedo is at the maximum dunk radius. He literally triggers a dunk from here. As long as the game decides that Hedo is sprinting, he can trigger a dunk from this point. He will walk all the way to the basket and dunk it. There's no way to know why that is. Again, it's not simply dunk package. I can bring in two characters with the same dunk package and they will, for different reasons, have a different dunk radius, right? So that's something you can only find out by taking the character into freestyle and trying them out, what their dunk radius is. And then the same thing for the baseline reverse dunks. You got to go in here. There's no place the dunk package is listed. The baseline reverse dunks are the most powerful dunk package in the game. And the same thing with the layups, right? So your layup package determines what the hop looks like on your hop dunks, but it doesn't determine how overpowered of a hop dunker you are. While the hop itself is determined by which layup package you are, and the most overpowered one is in long athlete, the dunks that come from the hop, I don't know. No one really knows why certain hop dunks just completely obliterate people and some don't do as good of a job. But you just got to go in here and test it out for yourself and see how good the hop dunks are. Now, here we get to the nitty gritty of you controlling your character. So we covered the baseline reverse dunks, we covered the hop dunks, and we covered the dunk radius, right? Which you have to come in and test. So the last thing you need to do, which is in a way the most important, is you have to go through every dunk situation with these characters multiple times. And here are the dunk situations listed back to back. With the ball in your right hand, all four directions plus your hop dunks. And with the ball in your left hand, all four directions on the right stick plus the hop dunks. Needless to say, you should never press square because you're going to get a random dunk animation from your dunk package, which you don't want because it can give you either back scratchers, an animation where the ball is put out towards your opponent in some kind of way, or it can give you a bad gather. So let's look at what Blake Griffin's bringing to the table. And I hesitate. And that's a very strong right-handed dunk, right? Hangs on the rim, looks real cool, and so on and so forth. Now, because these are random, I can't assure you guys that I'll get it. But, so that one had a bit of a cockback to it, and we didn't love that, right? It wasn't a terrible dunk, but it wasn't an ideal dunk for going up. And there we go. So we saw there Blake had a little bit of a gather. Blake has a bunch of mini gathers in his right-handed dunk package, and a bunch of and one like severe gather that really slows him down. That if somebody was using Blake Griffin, they might say, oh, I don't like that card. I don't like the way he dunks, because they just randomly got the bad dunk. Now, if that person's even less skilled and they weren't trying to go up with the right hand, but they were going up with two hands, this is what they might get. Another slow gather and a back scratcher right at the end of it. Not ideal. Let's look at another dunk package. Another dunk, two hands. Again, back scratcher, gather. You don't want that, right? That can get blocked and that can allow people to catch up to you. Let's look at his flashies. big gather, right? The windmill is nice and that's going to be hard to block, but a really big gather. So the secret to Blake dunking is that Blake is an elite switch hand dunker. If you switch hands with Blake, so right hand going to the left hand, he gets a speed boost. That's one of the best in-game dunks in the game, to get that speed boost, and it's reliable with both hands with Blake. So when Blake, just speed boost out of his sides up real quick, look at that, another one, speed boost, ball straight up in the air, he doesn't bring it down, he doesn't gather, he just glides to the rim. Without bringing Blake into the freestyle, there's no way for you to know that his best dunk is actually his switch hand dunk, right? So, and this goes the same for every card in the game. Not that their best dunks will be their switch hand dunks, but there's gonna, for most cards, there's a dunk or two that you really want to avoid and a dunk or two you really want to get. And the only way to find that out is to come in here and dunk several times with each hand. Now, usually with the two-handed dunks and with the flashy dunks, you're going to see right away whether or not the card has a good flashy dunk package. Like Michael Jordan has the free throw line flashy dunk, so you always want to do that. And Blake Griffin, he's almost the reverse. So with the two-handed dunks, you're like, okay, I never want to see that again, right? I don't want to do that gather unless nobody's near me. So those are pretty easy to figure out. But the right hand and the left hand. So here's the key with right hand and left-handed dunks. For most cards, their dominant hand, going up strong with their dominant hand is going to be their best dunks, right? And for Blake, he has a lot of good ones, but Blake is very unique in that him switching hands is his best dunks. For most cards, their dominant hand is their best dunks and their weak hand is their weakest dunks, right? But that's not always the case. So you see there, that was Blake going up with his weak hand. That dunk was better than almost every dunk we did going up with his right hand, all right? Let's do it again. Again, that was a gather, but it launched him forward. So you see there, Blake is almost better switching hands and better going up with his weak hand than he is going up with his strong hand, than he is going up flashy. And every card requires that little bit of exploration so that when you get in game, you don't get gathers that you don't want, you don't get back scratchers and windmills and all kinds of nonsense that'll get you blocked or allow the defender to catch up, contest you, or bump you from behind to ruin your dunk animation, okay? So that's gonna be it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope that was informative for you to help you get the best out of your dunking cards in NBA 2K20. See you in the next one. Peace.